Two people, same job, same paycheck, to the dollar. One of them just bought a house, not inherited, not gifted, bought last month on an ordinary salary. The other renting, still saving up, still 4 years away from a number they've never once questioned. Same money, completely different outcome. And the difference isn't luck. It's one thing, and it's not income. It's not a secret salary. It's not family money. It's a set of rules that nobody ever bothered to explain. By the end of this video, you're going to know every single one of them, every low down payment path, every grant that erases your deposit, every tax break the government built in. This isn't motivation. This is the playbook. Let's go. Let's start with the lie that's kept more people renting than any interest rate ever has. You need 20% down to buy a house. You've heard it. You've probably repeated it. You might be budgeting around it right now, saving toward a number you've never once questioned. Here's the reality. Only 37% of Americans know that 20% isn't actually required. The other 63% are saving for a wall that was never there. The median first-time buyer in America puts down 9%, not 20%, and the floors go even lower. 3.5% on a government-backed loan, 3% on certain conventional programs, and for veterans and rural buyers, 0. Run the numbers on a $300,000 home. 20% is $60,000. 3% is $9,000. Same house, same keys, same mortgage process. A $51,000 difference, just from knowing the real minimum. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because waiting to save 20%, the responsible move, is often the most expensive move you can make. While you save, the house doesn't wait. At 3% annual appreciation, the low end of historical norms, a $300,000 home becomes $345,000 in 3 years. You saved more. The house got more expensive, and you paid rent the entire time. The math doesn't care that you did everything right. That's the trap. Let's put a dollar figure on what waiting actually costs, because just keep saving sounds disciplined. But in a rising market, patience has a price tag, and nobody ever shows you the receipt. Here's the math. Say you're targeting a $300,000 home. The median first-time buyer puts down 9%, $27,000. At a reasonable savings rate, that's a 2 to 3 year timeline. During those 2 to 3 years, you keep paying rent. Median one-bedroom rent in America right now sits above $1,500 a month. That's $18,000 a year, $36,000 over 2 years. No equity, no asset, just receipts. Meanwhile, the house is appreciating. At just 3% annually, your target home gains $9,000 in value in year 1, $18,000 by year 2. So your savings went up by $27,000. The house got $18,000 more expensive, and you handed $36,000 to a landlord. One market analysis found that delaying a purchase by just 1 year, when you factor in appreciation, lost equity, and continued rent, can cost between $49,000 and $59,000. Not bad luck, arithmetic. So, if the wall at 20% is a myth and waiting makes you poorer, what does the actual path look like? That's exactly where we're going next. There isn't one way to buy a home. There are 4, and most people only ever hear about one of them. Option 1, government-backed loans, 3.5% down, lower credit requirements, gift funds allowed, and, critically, they work on multi-unit properties up to 4 units, as long as you live in one of them. That last part matters enormously. We'll come back to it. Option 2, conventional first-timer programs, 3% down. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac both offer them. On a $300,000 home, that's $9,000, less than most people have sitting in a savings account right now. Option 3, veterans loans. If you've served in the U.S. military, the VA loan program offers 0 down payment, no private mortgage insurance, no monthly insurance premium, the most powerful home loan in America, and it belongs to anyone who's earned it. Option 4, rural development loans, backed by the USDA, also 0 down payment. And before you assume this doesn't apply to you, in some states, over 90% of the map qualifies. We're not talking farmland. We're talking ordinary suburbs, just past the edge of a city, where people already live and commute from every day. The household income cap is around $119,000, which covers a wide slice of the people watching this. 4 paths, all government-backed, all leading to the same result, keys in hand. None of them require $60,000 up front. So the down payment is smaller than you thought, but it still has to come from somewhere. Here's where it gets even better. There are currently more than 2,600 active down payment assistance programs in the United States. 2,600. Run by state governments, city housing agencies, counties, and nonprofits, specifically designed to help first-time buyers cover their down payment and closing costs. Grants ranging from $5,000 to $25,000. Money you never repay. Forgivable loans, a second mortgage that disappears entirely after 5 to 15 years, as long as you stay in the home. Deferred loans, where nothing is due until you sell or refinance. 0 extra monthly payment. And in some cities, the numbers go far higher. New York City's Home First program offers a forgivable loan of up to $100,000 toward down payment and closing costs alone. $100,000. Forgivable. Most eligible buyers never apply because most eligible buyers have no idea it exists. On a $300,000 home at 3% down, the right assistance grant wipes out the entire $9,000 down payment from your own pocket. You walk in with nearly nothing. You walk out with a mortgage and a set of keys. And here's what makes it more powerful. Most of these programs can be stacked. A state grant on top of a city grant on top of a government-backed loan, all on the same purchase. Now, we've covered the loan, we've covered the deposit, but there's a whole other layer most buyers completely miss. What the government pays you every single year, just for owning. Most first-time buyers think about tax benefits as a nice bonus. They're not a bonus, they're a system, and most buyers leave every dollar of it unclaimed. Let's start with the Mortgage Credit Certificate, the MCC. Issued by your state housing finance agency at closing, it hands you a direct federal tax credit of up to $2,000 every year for the life of your loan, not a deduction, a credit. A deduction reduces your taxable income. A credit reduces your actual tax bill. Dollar for dollar. If you owe $4,000 in federal tax and have a $2,000 MCC credit, you owe $2,000, full stop. And here's what almost nobody realizes. You don't need to itemize to claim it. Take the full standard deduction and still claim the MCC credit on top. It's filed separately on IRS Form 8396, $2,000 a year, 30-year mortgage. That's $60,000 in tax credits. On the exact same salary. Just from knowing this tool exists, one hard rule: apply for the MCC before you close, not after, before. Miss that window and it's gone permanently. Now, 2 more breaks that just got bigger this year. Mortgage insurance premiums are deductible again, permanently, starting with your 2026 tax return. Signed into law on July the 4th, 2025. If you put less than 20% down, you're paying this. On a $400,000 loan that's typically $1,200 to $2,800 a year, and now it's deductible for incomes under $100,000. And the state and local tax deduction cap has gone from $10,000 to $40,000. If you're in a high-tax state, California, New York, New Jersey, this alone could push your total deductions above the standard threshold and unlock the mortgage interest deduction on top. The stack is real. A quick word on retirement accounts, because a lot of buyers go here first. If you have a Roth IRA, your contributions can come out anytime. No tax, no penalty, for any reason. That's not a loophole. That's just how Roth accounts work. Beyond that, the IRS allows a one-time penalty-free withdrawal of up to $10,000 from a traditional or Roth IRA, specifically for a first-time home purchase. Married with separate IRAs, that's $20,000 combined. With a traditional IRA, the penalty is waived, but the withdrawal is still taxed as ordinary income. Now, the number that puts this in perspective: $10,000 left untouched at 30 years old, at an 8% historical return, grows to over $172,000 by retirement. $172,000 for a $10,000 shortcut. So use it last, not first. Grants before savings. Savings before retirement. Pull the levers in the right order, and the retirement account stays intact, growing quietly in the background while your home builds equity in front. Now, the final move. The one that actually explains how someone on your salary already bought. When you buy a property with 2, 3, or 4 units and live in one of them, lenders are allowed to count approximately 75% of the expected rental income from the other units as your qualifying income. Read that carefully because it's not intuitive. The rent your future tenants will pay counts toward your ability to get the mortgage. On paper, your salary didn't change. On the mortgage application, your income just went up. A buyer who qualifies for a $300,000 home on their salary alone can often reach a $450,000 multi-unit building because 75% of the projected rent is added to their qualifying number. Same person, same job, same paycheck. $150,000 more in purchasing power from knowing one rule. Here's what it looks like in practice. A 4-unit property. You live in 1 unit. The other 3 rent for roughly $1,350 each, just over $4,000 a month in rental income. Your mortgage payment, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, sits around $3,100. The tenants cover it, with room to spare. You are building equity in 4 units simultaneously. The asset pays for itself, and you got in with 3.5% down on an ordinary paycheck. Sam didn't get a raise. Sam didn't inherit anything. Sam just knew the rent could count. So here's everything. In the order you'd actually use it. The first home stack. Layer 1. Know your real floor. 3%, 3.5, or 0. Not 20. Layer 2. Stack assistance on top. Over 2,600 programs. Grants from $5,000 to $25,000. Free, forgivable, and massively underused. Layer 3. Consider a 2 to 4 unit property. 75% of projected rental income counts toward your qualifying number. Same salary, bigger loan. Layer 4. Lock the MCC before you close. $2,000 a year off your tax bill. No itemizing required. Miss the closing window. It's gone. Layer 5. Claim your deductions. Mortgage insurance now permanently deductible. Property taxes up to $40,000. Mortgage interest on up to $750,000 of debt. Layer 6. Retirement last. Roth contributions penalty-free if needed. IRA withdrawal of up to $10,000. Last resort only. Not every layer applies to everyone, but most buyers are leaving at least 2 or 3 of these completely untouched. 3 things to do this week. 1. Find your real down payment number. Stop assuming 20%. 2. Contact your state housing finance agency before you sign anything. Ask about assistance and the MCC. Before closing, not after. 3. Run the numbers on a small multi-unit. One conversation with a lender about rental income counting could change everything. It was never the paycheck. It was the playbook. If there's a piece of this you want dug into deeper, say so in the comments. And if this is the kind of thing you want more of, subscribe. Hit like. It motivates me to keep making these.